More than 130 years ago, a man driven by passion, ambition, and vision stumbled upon this place, a sanctuary of beauty hidden amidst the lush Loire Valley. His name was Auguste Rodin. Most people know him today as the father of modern sculpture, but in 1890, in the heart of ChateaudeLIslette, Rodin found inspiration and a love that would change his life forever. The chateau was a cradle of creation, a refuge where art and love blossomed into something eternal. The kind of romance that inspires books, the kind of stories that breathe life into films. Today, ChateaudeLIslette remains more than just stone in history. A family now calls this castle home, honoring the passion, the art, and the love that first took root here. Through them, the soul of ChateaudeLIslette lives on, a tribute to those who once found solace and beauty within its walls. Join us as we step into the world of ChateaudeLIslette, right here on Saving Castles. ChateaudeLIslette has stood as a silent witness to centuries of history. Sitting along the tranquil banks of the Indre River in the Loire Valley, built in the late 16th century, it is a true Renaissance masterpiece. For generations, the chateau has been a place where creativity and emotion intertwine, a space where art and love were born and nurtured, inspiring stories that live on today. Now, this incredible piece of history is a cherished home for the Michaud family. Pierre-André and Bénédicte Michaud, along with their children, have taken on the remarkable responsibility of preserving ChateaudeLIslette's legacy while creating new memories within its storied walls. For many people, growing up in a castle sounds like a far-fetched fairy tale. So naturally, we were curious to know exactly what it's like. We have the rare privilege to be sitting with the owners, and in particular, someone who has grown up in the chateau as a young boy, as his family has owned the chateau for many years. So I want to start with that question. Can you tell me a little bit about your family and how your family ended up owning a chateau?
Yes, we are looking for a chateau because my parents are from this region, and they find this one and decided, yes, we will live here. But at the beginning, they didn't want to live in the castle, but in the mill, because they think it's too big for us. But immediately after, they began to make works, and now we are in the castle.
It's amazing. And what year was that they purchased the chateau?
They bought it in 1965. The chateau is from the 16th century. It was achieved in 1530.
And so since you have lived here since you were a little boy, what was it like to grow up in a chateau?
What was special is there's a lot of space. So when I was a boy, a child, I was with my bike and go everywhere.
So was your father warning you not to go in certain areas of the chateau? No, you could go anywhere.
Now we prevent the children to go in the attic and so on, but when I was young, I could go everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah. And so many years later, a part of your family lives here in the chateau today.
Yes.
Even though that it is open to the public. Yeah. Do you have lots of people who come and want to see the chateau?
We have per year 15,000 people who visit the chateau, but we are open half of the year, and the other half is for us. We are very excited when people came at the beginning of the season, and very happy when we came back in it to live in.
So you need a break too, and you get to rest.
Yes.
ChateaudeLIslette was constructed during a time of cultural rebirth in France. The 16th century was characterized by a flourishing of art, architecture, and intellectual growth. And this period saw the Loire Valley crowned with castles that were no longer built solely for defense, but as symbols of status and refined living. ChateaudeLIslette is a perfect reflection of this shift, designed not only for practical purpose, but for beauty, elegance, and the pleasure of its noble residents. Designed with both grandeur and symmetry in mind, ChateaudeLIslette boasts a mix of Gothic and Renaissance influences, with high towers, arched windows, and meticulously carved stone details that capture the essence of the era. It was built to serve as a retreat from court life, a peaceful and private haven where the nobility could escape the pressures of their positions. The castle's location by the river Indre added to its idyllic charm and offered a tranquil and reflective setting that complemented its elegant architecture.
So how many years have you worked on the restoration?
My parents began just when they bought it. And when they bought it, it was in very bad conditions. The interior was very bad. So they make a lot of things, and we continue, and we hope that our children will continue too.
So in the 1960s, was it very common to see lots of chateaux that were abandoned?
Mm-hmm.
Were there lots of empty chateaux during those years when your parents were looking to purchase?
Yes, I suppose at this time, people didn't care about castles like this, and now everybody is very fond of the old stones. And what is very for us encouraging that people come here and say thank you to us. You see?
Every time.
Everywhere, every time.
The chateau today stands as a beautifully preserved piece of history, its walls and gardens bearing witness to centuries of noble lives, artistic ambition, and timeless romance. And for those who wander its halls, there remains an undeniable presence, a lingering memory of the love and creative fire that once burned here between two sculptors, whose story lives on within these very walls. There's a common saying that behind every great man, there is a great woman. And for Auguste Rodin, that woman was Camille Claudel.
It's very interesting because Émile Zola decided to command to a sculptor, Rodin, to do a monument for Balzac because he was died. And Balzac was very famous with all the books he wrote. So Rodin accepted, and he decided to come in Loire Valley to go everywhere Balzac lived to discover the personality of Balzac. And he found this castle. At that time, the castle of Lillette proposed bed and breakfast. So when he discovered this, he said, oh, yes, to the proprietor, to the owner, can I come to sculpt in your castle with another person? The owner at that time said, oh, yes, if you want, it's possible. So, at that moment, in his workplace, Rodin met Camille Claudel. She was young, she was 19 years old. He accepted her in his atelier, and she came to sculpt, and everything she did, it was perfect. He was impressed. He fell in love.
When Rodin met 19-year-old Claudel, he was already 42. He took Claudel under his wing, and almost immediately, her artistry blossomed. Claudel's raw talent and insight into the human form fueled a creative exchange with Rodin that would transform both of their careers. For nearly 15 years, their partnership blurred the lines between muse and mentor, lover and equal.
He asked her if she wanted to become her assistant, his assistant. And she was young, and she was impressed by the master, so she accepted. He wrote a contract. And in this contract, he wrote, Camille Claudel shall come with me in Rome in the Villa Médicis during 6 months every year, and after Miss Claudel shall become my wife. And it's the beginning of a real lover affair.
I see, yes.
And when he asked her, do you want to come in the castle of Lilette to accompany me, to go with me? And she said yes. And here they love. Tumultuous love.
Claudel was not only Rodin's student, but also his assistant, his confidant, and his greatest source of inspiration. Her style and vision, though intertwined with his, were distinctly her own, and ultimately, she felt the need to break free to pursue her art on her terms. Her works, deeply expressive and evocative, were celebrated by critics, though she never received the public commissions her work deserved. Today, only about 90 of her pieces remain, some preserved at the Château, where their passion was born. During those years at ChateaudeLIslette, the two sculptors were inseparable, their lives and art deeply entwined. Some letters they wrote to each other hang on the walls of the Château's gallery. Rodin once described his time with Claudel as one of the great joys of his artistic life, finding in her a rare understanding and inspiration that few could match. But while Rodin's name grew in prominence, Claudel's journey took a darker turn. Claudel spent the last 30 years of her life in a mental asylum, never again touching clay. In the silence of those years, her genius faded into obscurity, but her legacy endures. Her powerful portraits, such as the unforgettable bust of Rodin himself, capture her profound understanding of human complexity. Today, ChateaudeLIslette remains a witness to this passionate chapter in art history where two remarkable artists came together, forever transforming each other's work and lives.
Tell me a little bit about the gardens and the river that is connected to the chateau.
It's my mother-in-law. She decided to create the garden because in front of this nice facade, it was important to have something nice that she imagined with a gardener, a French garden, and now we believe it's important for the castle. It's very romantic.
It's a very romantic property. Now, do you have a lot of restoration to do yet on your chateau?
Yes. Yes. For this moment, the main project is to repair and open to the public the attic, because all the wood structure of the roof is very, very beautiful, and it's a very big, large place. And I think if we succeed to do it, people will love it very much.
I think so too. It is one of the most beautiful chateaus that we've seen, and we've had the opportunity over the past few weeks to visit lots of the most famous chateaux. And the work that you've done here has been really wonderful. Yeah. And I know that there's a lot of people who would like to come to visit.
The chateau has been lovingly restored over the years, with a focus on preserving its original character while making it a comfortable home for the Michaud family. The chapel, once a private sanctuary for the chateau's noble residents, has been meticulously restored. The living area, considered by the family as the most beautiful part of the chateau, is a marvel of Renaissance design, filled with light and original architectural details that capture the essence of the era. The bedrooms, where the Michauds lived during the off-season, have been gently updated, allowing modern comforts without sacrificing any of the historical charm. Even the kitchen, a space that in some chateaux might feel like a museum display, bears the warmth of daily life with lovingly used cookware and family touches that make it feel alive. The restoration extends all the way up to the towers and attic, where the chateau's bones are on full display. These upper levels reveal the chateau's structural strength, with thick beams and solid stonework that have held strong for centuries. The Michauds took us up to the towers, an area closed to the public, where we enjoyed a breathtaking 360-degree view of the entire castle grounds. It's one thing to hear about the romance of castles, but it's a whole other experience actually getting to see it up close. Imagine walking along gardens and halls that have witnessed the greatest love stories we all know so well. If you like being swept up in the charm and romance of castles, then you'll love our ultimate online castle guides. These guides, easily downloadable on your phone through the Thatch app, offers you a curated list of castles in the Loire Valley, northern France, and southern France, as well as our recommended tours, lodgings, and restaurants. There are over 40,000 castles in France alone. With the Saving Castles Ultimate Castle Guides, you can shortcut the overwhelming planning process and go on a stress-free and magical tour of France's most majestic castles and chateaux, like ChateaudeLIslette. The craftsmanship of the chateau's original builders is still so greatly seen, and the care taken by the Michauds to maintain and restore the chateau to its former glory is lovely to see.
This is something we like to ask people who have taken on a restoration project. What were the biggest challenges for you over the years that you worked to restore the chateau?
For us, it's every day is an adventure. So I can say that is the main thing. Every day we have little things or big things to do. So it's difficult to say now. Our main subject is the attic, but tomorrow it will be another thing. We would like to restore the old mill, and if we have no financial limits, I suppose we'd like to restore the exterior to have like at the beginning, like in the 16th century, to have the roof of the tower pointu, I don't know how to say in English, and the windows restored too. Yeah.
Now, there's been a renewed interest in restoration in chateaus in the last couple years. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to somebody that thinks that they would one day like to purchase an old chateau and restore it?
I think it's a choice in the life. Mm-hmm. When we have this sort of monument, it's more important than our person. So we will celebrate the 500 years of this castle. 5 centuries, it's enormous. We live 1 century max. So
it's a responsibility.
Yes, exactly.
That they should that they should be responsible to the history of the chateau that they're looking at. Yeah. And also, it is a lifelong project. Yeah. Thank you for taking the time to share it with us today. And it was very gracious of you and very kind for you to do this. Thank you very much.
Our visit to ChateaudeLIslette stands out as one of the most memorable tours we've ever experienced. The family describes it as a maternal castle, and indeed, we felt it. A certain warmth that lingers in the air and follows you as you explore its halls. There's an undeniable sense that the chateau has protected and nurtured the Michaud family over the years, just as it has for generations before. There is a passionate love here for family, history, and legacy. It's a place that captures your heart and invites you to become part of its story, if only for a moment. Did you know that we have a treasure trove of exclusive content available to our Patreon subscribers? From behind-the-scenes footage to bonus podcast episodes, it's the perfect place to escape and dive into rich history. So click the link in the description to subscribe, and we'll see you there. If you love this chateau tour, give this video a like and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our future videos. We'll see you on the next one.